welcome to the Wrestling Maniac broadcast. This is your host, Marvelous Mike. Another time I'm coming to bring you some wrestling editorial comments, and we are going to be discussing today CM Punk. I don't know if you know this or not, but yeah, there was something that happened Friday night, and it was CM Punk, after 7 years, made his debut again in professional wrestling. And I had made a broadcast before, but I had not added some stuff in it that had transpired. So I'm going to be doing that now in this broadcast and little podcast. First, I want to say that absolutely it has not been since probably the time of Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30 have I seen a crowd have such a overwhelming reaction. And then you go all the way back to, which I think this is probably one of the Ruthless Aggression era's greatest matches, RVD versus John Cena, the hatred that was actually there in the ECW arena, which everybody go check that out. Great match. And then we have to go back really to the Attitude Era and the phenomenon that was Austin 316, and then The Rock being part of that, and the different Goldberg versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan in the Georgia Dome, different moments, even another great moment which I loved was Lex Luger versus Hollywood Hogan on Monday Night Nitro, winning the world WCW World Title. So this was really overwhelming as a fan watching this, and so many people have reacted to the debut, the re-debut of, or the debut of CM Punk in AEW as really bringing back the nostalgia to professional wrestling. And we really have to discuss that it was done really in a masterful way. Go check out the interview. I believe it's still up with, and that was after the show, with CM Punk and Tony Khan, with answering a reporter's questions. You know, it was the worst, best kept secret, but, you know, it was 2 years in the making, or 3 years in the making. CM Punk trying to establish a relationship with Tony Khan to really, you know, see if this was the place for him to go. And of course, he was trying different things, you know, and everything that surrounded him after his departure from the WWE and everything, and he made some mistakes. Everybody does. He had some heat. Everybody does. But you have to give it up to CM Punk. I mean, there is really, maybe Edge comes close, but there is really nobody in professional wrestling now that is on his level. He sold out the United Center, 15,000 strong, on a rumor that he was going to be debuting that night. No, nothing to be confirmed. The crowd sound when his music hit was just amazing. And even CM Punk had to take in the moment and I mean, him not being on a script was just fantastic. It was having the crowd in the palm of your hand. It was masterfully done. My other tape that I recorded on this was before Jim Cornette had his opinion on it. And say what you will, Jim Cornette knows wrestling. He knows what works. He knows what doesn't. Sometimes he's wrong. But, even Jim Cornette said that it was better than his expectations. CM Punk is the smartest guy in the room. And we are about, I think, to... if AEW doesn't screw this up, we are about to see a resurgence of, I think, the Attitude Era. And it's going to be led by CM Punk. He is a draw. I mean, Roman Reigns was trying, no doubt. He went on ESPN or some broadcast and was talking about how CM Punk wasn't really a draw and all this stuff. And the WWE was trying to put word out there, and downplay the whole thing. But, yeah, I think he's pretty much a draw, and I think that he's over more than anybody that's in the business right now. He is legitimately the biggest star in professional wrestling, and he's been gone for 7 years. I hope that this is going to last for a while. I hope that AEW ends their garbage wrestling and really tries to streamline their talent that they have to be able to fall in line with what CM Punk is bringing to the table. He will be opinionated. He will give his insight to people. He will not hold back because he don't care about what people thinks about him. He wants to produce the best quality. You can guarantee you that CM Punk has a huge chip on his shoulder regarding the WWE, and he's not going to admit it. He's very eloquently articulated right now, and but even the little thing with the ice cream bars was a throwback to the things that he wanted from the WWE that the WWE would not give him. And Tony Khan was, there. He did it. I mean, probably people, there's no telling how many ice cream bars they sold in the United Center that night. I mean, you can have ice cream bars. I can see it. CM Punk ice cream bars now is going to be, I can see them being at Walmart, at Target, different places. I mean, he's a marketing genius. All he needs is a platform, and he's got a great big platform. He will make everybody better than they are in the ring. He has great talent that is going to be around him. He's got Bryan Danielson that is going to be coming to AEW also, which no doubt is the reason why he signed, so that they can do the match that they never got to have at WrestleMania, and they can make it like the main event at one of AEW's premier events. In a year from now, Double or Nothing, probably the main event is going to be Bryan Danielson versus CM Punk. He's there to build up talent. I hope that he does it in the right way, that the talent pays their dues before they are able to pin him, instead of being so cheaply pinned like Jericho was the other night with MJF. The payoff should have not been on network TV. The payoff should have been on the pay-per-view. I don't understand that, but I guess Jericho knows more than what he's doing than what I do. You know, the stuff with Nick Gage and stuff like that. You know, Tony Khan's into that garbage, which it is garbage wrestling. But hopefully that on the TV shows that CM Punk is going to be on, that sort of junk is not going to be on there, because it will cheapen everything that he does, everything that he says, and I think that he's going to have input. People say that, you know, I mean, he's not going to be an executive producer. We don't know that yet. He's just a wrestler, just a talent. But I guarantee you one thing, he has creative control over his character. And it is really interesting that, you know, that this has happened. And, you know, you can see the crowd reaction. You can see grown men crying. You know, I mean, you know, I like the fact that what Jim Cornette said, that, you know, he could probably run for mayor of Chicago right now and win. But it is great to see this, you know. The nostalgia of what America has, or Americana has, with professional wrestling is been historic even since the days of Gorgeous George. And of course, all of those things ended when kayfabe was broke, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think that, you know, to a certain degree, people need to know that it's not real. I mean, I went to, years ago, about 10 years ago, I was in Uganda, and an episode of SmackDown was playing, and they actually thought it was real. They didn't know, and their reactions was real, and it was in a hotel lobby that there was a group of men was watching, and it was quite fascinating to see this. And, you know, it reminds me back of, pretend, tell me a story in the ring, as I always say. And, you know, that's what I want. And there's a lot of lacking right now in professional wrestling and storytelling. You know, there's too many false finishes. Finishing moves don't mean nothing. Too many impactful moves or transitionals. I'm not a fan of 13 or 30 super kicks, you know, in a match. You know, because they don't mean anything. There's no pin. So, you know, I mean, I know the Young Bucks are good, but I'm just not really a fan. I think, you know, and I do I think they're the greatest tag team of all time? Absolutely not. But you know, it is what it is, and they have their fans, and there's fans that like that because people don't know any better, and they don't, you know. Are we headed back towards the popularity of the late 70s, early 80s? And I put that cutoff period at WrestleMania 3 when Hogan slammed Andre. I don't know if we're going to be to that point ever again. I don't know if we're ever going to be to the point to where there's, you know, 90,000 fans, 100,000 fans, you know, gathered in a football stadium watching professional wrestling. I don't know if we'll be to that point yet. I think that there needs to be a lot more professionalism in the ring. I'm hoping that CM Punk brings this to AEW. I'm hoping that, you know, he really sort of gets the young talent and tells them that, hey, you don't have to actually hurt somebody to be in the ring with them. You don't have to actually kick them in the face. I mean, that's not. I mean, practice to the point to where you get it perfect, where you are Mr. Perfect in the ring, and where it looks real, not that it is real. I mean, somebody, giving a headbutt to somebody, and then, somebody has to retire from professional wrestling, or somebody kicks somebody and they break their jaw, or they kick them in the back of the head, and they have a broken neck. That, or they do a move on the ring apron and you've injured somebody for their career, and you take these unnecessary moves and these unnecessary dives. I don't know if AEW is ever going to be that. There needs to be a professional wrestling promotion that brings that nostalgia back, because I think that they would be popular, and it would take a while to breed. It would take a while to build that. One of the questions was, do you want to wrestle outside of AEW? CM Punk said that, that he kind of wanted to get his feet wet. He kind of wanted to be there, I mean, he was a TV guy, he wasn't there for YouTube. There's one match outside of AEW that is probably going to be the match, and that's probably CM Punk versus Okada. That is the match, would be the match of the century. I think Okada is the most amazing professional wrestler on the planet right now. The reason why Kenny Omega is because of Okada. And I would like to see CM Punk. I would like to see Bryan Danielson versus Okada. New Japan needs to make that happen. And they need to make it happen at Wrestle Kingdom. They need to make it happen at Double or Nothing. That is the match outside of the AEW that needs to take place. That, or Nick Aldis versus CM Punk. I don't know if that'll ever happen. Nick Aldis versus Bryan Danielson probably would be more likely, I would say, than that. Which that would be an interesting matchup. I could see that would be so great for the NWA if Bryan Danielson won the NWA World Championship and then defended it, just had it for a little while. Looking for CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes, CM Punk versus Kenny Omega, CM Punk versus Jon Moxley, CM Punk versus Chris Jericho. Yet probably, I think they think it faced off. But that's such a good matchup. Going down the road. And then you have all the young talent. CM Punk versus Hangman Page. I know they were making over Darby Allin and really trying to build up Darby Allin. I don't see it. Maybe if he does need to put on a little bit of muscle mass, I think, in order to really, for me to take him seriously. I think he does. As a professional wrestler, maybe he will. I mean, I know he's young, but I think that, he, in retrospect, and I say this, that it's different if you're a big burly guy, but, if you're going to play the part, you need to look like the part. And that's the way I feel about it, And so the nostalgia act of it's not more of a nostalgia act. I think it's a changing of the guard type that CM Punk was one of the most epic returns in professional wrestling history. It is made, just like with every person that is talks about has YouTube channels. I think that it really is an agreement thing that this really is a good thing for professional wrestling, and CM Punk really tried to stress that, and hopefully he can bring more professionalism to AEW. I said that. So, I really, again, don't really care what people's opinions are in my comments. My opinions are for myself and mine alone. And if you agree with them, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. Leave me comments. I don't care. At least, don't leave rude stuff, because I'll just block you, your comments, and block you on comments. But, there's no sense in being vulgar and everything like that. But, CM Punk, what a awesome return that he had Friday night. Vince McMahon, you're on notice, step up your game. As I said in my SummerSlam review, it's game on, and it's good for wrestling fans that this is going to be happening. I think that there needs to be a third promotion that's going to be out there that's going to be great. You have the minor promotions of Impact and the NWA and Ring of Honor. I think that really the NWA needs to distinguish itself and separate itself from the pack, and make itself more traditional. I really wish that I was in some way involved with the NWA and trying to give some ideas and trying to create that era of throwback, because in my opinion, and I know that the others have the rating, but the real professional wrestling champion of the world is Nick Aldis. And you can say what you will, but he has proven himself over time, and they've built that champion up. And I hope he continues to. I hope he brings the NWA into the next few years. Either maybe the NWA is maybe trying to build up Hope, and they have some different ones that they're bringing along. There's, I think, one of the most underrated promotions that there is MLW. Some of the stuff I don't get with, but they have the best faction in professional wrestling in Contra. And they're the best heel faction in professional wrestling. And too bad the MLW isn't working with AEW, because Hammerstone in the MLW is for real. The Von Erichs are for real, and Contra is for real. Fatu is for real. They're worth watching when you can actually catch the programming. But it's interesting, the landscape of professional wrestling right now. and I don't understand why Ring of Honor isn't bigger, because they have with St. Clair Broadcasting, they have the broadcasting vehicle in order to be better. But anyway, they are what they are, and we'll go with that. So anyway, this is my 2 cents on the Nick Aldis, not on the Nick Aldis, but on the CM Punk resurgence. And it was very good, and I enjoyed every bit of it that took place. I think that each and every one of you need to check it out. And CM Punk is legit. He is over. I was doubting that he would be that over when he come back, but oh my gosh, wasn't I wrong? Yeah, it was just amazing to watch, and we'll be watching and see what happens next, won't we? Well, I'll talk to y'all later, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.